They killed. Give me Isaiah 14 and 21. They did the same thing to my people. So that you said that they put billions of my Should a murderer go to jail for murdering? Absolutely. Should a thief go to jail when he steals? Absolutely. Should a robber pay back the money he robbed? Absolutely. So why shouldn't the white man pay for what he did? That's right. One day you'll see just how it feels. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog.
I'm in a hell of a hole, was never expected to grow. This obstacle sat in the road, that a result of me selling my soul. The story I'm telling is cold, but yet it's what everyone knows. The white man's the devil is known. America was never a home, only a place of captivity, safe facility, hating, disfigure me. The claim that I'm lazy be killing me, maybe this slavery draining my energy. 400 years and counting, the trail of my tears is countless. The fact that I'm here is astounding, but I can't wait till this shit is surrounded. Ready to tangle my king and the angel, be ready to rap. Crack in the sky, nuclear missiles will make it official. I'm capturing every cracker surviving. Put them all in chains where they need to be, slavery for me. And let the whole world see that with them in the cages, safer in the streets. Put the dog on a leash, get resolved for the beast. 144, get the ruler show, we could all be at peace. As soon as the trumpets are sound, your kingdom we busting it down. The only way justice is found, the time for your judgment is now. You'll see just how it feels. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. 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 Look, ain't no remorse in my blood slump. It won't be no compromise. Now it's time to feed the worms. Watch his body turn to flies. I clutch iron while you trust the lies. The next Glock I buy gon' be Gen 5. I get it customized. And sending shots off like farewell. Praying payback come back around like a carousel. Still remember your Honda's words ringing in my head like bells. Said you in his body, you fit the Lord, fuck the cartel. Triangle choke, apply pressure to the game like I did Vondale. Payback's a bitch in a dress, she a bombshell. Revenge is served cold, I just hope they make an oxtail. Glock fresh out the box, I swear it got that new car smell. Made myself a target in the world of mad shooters. There was designed fire for our babies to pass through. In the day of our king's reign, I'll be overzealous. They bought my jealous, I bought brand new parabellums. One day you'll see just how it feels. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog. Payback is a dog. It's a dog.
Hey, Shalom, Yahweh Shem Yahushua Brakathum. Yahweh Shema Latham Bashem Yahushua to all the brothers and sisters. You understand? This is the ISPK, the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge. I mean, coming straight out of one. Let's give it up. This is the biblical law class. You understand? We're going to get into this. You know what I'm saying? We've been bringing this truth out since 1969 that blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans are the true biblical Jews of the Bible. And our oppressors, the colonizers, the pilgrim, the Spaniard, whatever you want to nickname you want to give him, you feel me? He's the devil that the Bible speaks of, you understand? Right. Hey, we're going to get into this. As we all know, first of all, any questions in the classroom? We got Officer Ganai here. Understand? We got young man Brian in the class. You know, we're gonna get into this Friday. This Friday is July 4th. So as we know, July 4th is the day that they call Independence Day. You see what I'm saying? So we're gonna get into Independence Day. Should we be celebrating it? You know, is it okay for us to go ahead and just, you know, dive into the customs of, you know, the nations around us? Like, is it okay? Is it a sin for us to be celebrating, you know, the Independence Day? You see what I'm saying? Like, we're gonna get into that. And then we're gonna get the history of Independence Day from our oppressor, and we're gonna get our Independence Day, what we gotta do to obtain ours.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So first thing I want to do is I want to kind of give a little background on Independence Day. Like, I know for most, you know, we familiar with Independence Day or July 4th. You see what I'm saying? But I'm gonna get a history of it real quick. So it was in 1776. You know, the Declaration was declared pretty much that it separated the United States from Britain. You see what I'm saying? But the interesting fact is, in 1776, despite them making that Declaration of Independence, it wasn't until 90 years later that so-called black man got his freedom, so to speak. We really didn't get freedom, first of all, but how they put it, you see what I'm saying? The freedom that they gave us wasn't until 90 years later. So here it is. If you're looking at the so-called white man, if you're looking at his Independence Day, you got to think he was fighting because he felt like he was oppressed. He felt like the British was, you know, pretty much using them. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's what the whole term. Who heard of the term taxation? No taxation without representation. That's on a few license plates. Like, a few states still have that on their license plate. That's their slogan. No taxation without representation. What does that mean? When you hear that, what does that mean? Look at now.
Sir. You know what I mean? Like, somebody, so if you pay taxes, you gotta have somebody like represent you, like you know, we pay for mayors and all that.
Yeah, that's exactly what it means. So pretty much, you know, like if you paying taxes, they feel like you should have somebody from your party, from your nation, from your people representing you in these meetings. You see what I'm saying? So the colonies, the 13 colonies, they didn't have that. So they said no taxation without representation. So as the story go, you feel me? They got angry, you know, and they declared war. They said they not going to take this no more. You feel me? So pretty much in 1773, it was a group of white men. What was their names? These are the men who organized the Boston Tea Party. Their name was called the Sons of Liberty. That's what their names were, the Sons of Liberty, and they're the ones who organized the Boston Tea Party. You know, where they went and they threw. I think it was like it was something like 300. It was like 300 some chests they threw of tea that they threw into the Boston Harbor, which today's value is worth over a couple of $1 million. You see what I'm saying? They got rid of it. They threw it into the Boston Harbor. Some of the key leaders of that movement, the Sons of Liberty, was Samuel Adams. That name rings a bell, right? Samuel Adams, he's who they named the bear after. You see what I'm saying? Also, Paul Revere, another devil. You see what I'm saying? He had something called the Midnight Ride, you know, because a poem called the Midnight Ride because they rode, you know, because they rode through the night and stuff like that, you know, when they declared that they was going to do something about the British doing something to them, you feel me? Then you had John Hancock. People still use his name today. When you sign something, they say, you know, put your Hancock on this. That's because he was the first one to sign the Declaration of Independence. You see what I'm saying? Then you have Patrick Henry, who coined the slogan, "Give me liberty or give me death." You see what I'm saying? So these were four prominent men white men who organized that, who gathered. They were called the Sons of Liberty, and they organized that Boston Tea Party. You see what I'm saying? Now, here's the thing. Of course, during all of this struggle, during all of this war, you see what I'm saying? At the end of the day, we were still slaves. You know, so the hypocrisy of it all is they're fighting for their oppression because they say they can't even be taxed without representation. And here it is, they got us in shackles and chains doing Lord knows whatever they wanted to us. And these 4 men owned slaves too. And these are still prominent names in this society still to this day. You see what I'm saying? Another interesting point is when they went and they dumped that tea into the Boston harbor. How did they dress? Anybody know how they dressed?
Like slave.
No.
Like British.
They dressed up as Native Americans. They dressed up as the Mohawk Indians. You see what I'm saying? They pretty much put their attire on how they dressed and stuff like that, and then they went out and they did what they did. Why did they do that?
The trade. To try to. Is it because they wanted the same as a Native Americans and did that crime for?
Absolutely. You know, the thing is, they didn't want to be on the forefront. They didn't want to be on the forefront with their identity. So they knew at the end of the day, if they dressed up like Native Americans and they went and threw the tea into the Boston Harbor, when all the repercussions, because it was illegal to do that. So when all the repercussions came down, shit, they ain't gonna come looking for us. They're gonna go slaughter the Native American Indians who had nothing to do with it. This is how wicked and how evil this bastard is. You see what I'm saying? When you coin a term and say, give me liberty or give me death, you see what I'm saying? You say that boldly. You put that in the poem and you speak it boldly, right? But when you go and you do something about it, you actually disguise yourself. You see what I'm saying? That's how cowardly the so-called white man is. You see what I'm saying? He has to do things under disguise so he don't reveal his identity. This is the same way that they're doing things right now. Yeah, that's right. Commander General Han and General Hyman just bringing out. Even if you look at the ICE agents to this day, they're hiding their faces. They're putting ski masks on. They don't want to be revealed. You see what I'm saying? They don't want people to know who they are. This is a tactic that they've always used. Who else like they have? If you have issues with it, don't worry about it.
Static.
If you have issues, don't sweat it.
It's a lot, sir. And some of the people that they got portrayed going on, that they cover their face up with some of them not even ICE agents when they actually kidnapping a lot of the Hispanics.
That's the thing. Their face cover. How would you know?
Yeah, I was saying on I guess YouTube, they was covering their face up portraying themselves as if they was ICE agents, and they not, and they kidnapping a lot of people and not even putting them in.
God. And that's definitely a possibility. You see what I'm saying? Because here's the thing: if you can't identify them, how do you know who they are? You see what I'm saying? So this is what they did. They put Native American attire on and went and did that Boston Tea Party. Good.
So that's just like when they had the riots, when the injustices be having our people, and then our people would choose to riot, even though that's a devil's way of life, right? But even when they riot, a lot of the time the oppressor will put on masks and stuff and do these riots.
Right.
And then have the world believe and the media believe that it's our black friend. The whole time it's them in the mask creating all these riots.
Right. And then what you're saying is heavy because even in their so-called anger, where they just fed up, they still ain't got the goal. They still ain't got the yeah, I mean, they ain't got it in them to stand on what they gonna stand on. You see what I'm saying? They still trying to disguise themselves just in case if something go wrong. Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans is going to get the blame. You see what I'm saying? And this is how Independence Day came about. You see what I'm saying? They eventually got their separation and their freedom from Britain. You see what I'm saying? And this is where Independence Day, or July 4th, has come from in 1776. But at the same time, like I said, it wasn't until 90 years later that they gave us what they consider so-called freedom, which was not really freedom. You see what I'm saying? So while they're fighting, the hypocrisy of it is that they're fighting for, and they're fighting against what they consider injustice. They're fighting against what they consider oppression. Yet and still, they got slaves. You see what I'm saying? Cool, you had something?
That's a lot. So I might have missed it. What was the law they passed that supposedly said we was free? Like,
You said the law to say we
you said it was 90 years.
It was 90 years after the Declaration of Independence was signed.
Oh, come on.
That we got our so-called freedom.
Come on.
You see what I'm saying? If I did, let me get Proverbs 3:31.
Come on.
And this is something this is something that every Black, Hispanic, and Native American we should actually be looking at. Here it is, 2025, where information is readily available to us. You see what I'm saying? You can go right online and you can look up the history of everything. You see what I'm saying? We just got to give it that. You see what I'm saying? Like, Friday is July 4th for Independence Day. There should not be not one Black, not one Hispanic, not one Native American celebrating this holiday.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? This was not for us. This was not our holiday. This was not something to commemorate us in our history. You see what I'm saying? We were still slaves during Independence Day.
All right.
Go to read it, sure.
Come. Proverbs chapter 3, verse 31. Envy thou not the oppressor.
The Bible says, envy thou not the oppressor. When they say envy thou not the oppressor, what does that mean? What does that really mean, to envy not the oppressor? You see what I'm saying? Good enough.
Right. So it means basically be jealous.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Be jealous of the way the oppressor is living.
Don't look at them. Don't look at them and be jealous and be so gun-ho on trying to be like them.
Right.
Trying to live their kind of lifestyle. You see what I'm saying? Because what we don't realize, what they did to obtain that lifestyle is not something that we're going to do, that we're not supposed to do.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? When we envy our oppressor, we don't envy certain aspects of them. We envy them completely. You see what I'm saying? Like, it's a envy thou not the oppressor. Anyone that?
Continue.
Good.
And choose none of his ways.
You're saying choose none of his ways. You see what I'm saying? His ways, like, here's the thing. A Black man is not supposed, we want to glorify ourselves as being gangsters. Black men are not gangsters out. You see what I'm saying? That's a so-called white man. That's his attribute. You see what I'm saying? Like, if you look at all the gangsters, the real gangsters, they Italians. They the ones extorting, and every, I remember hearing one time, for every window that went up in New York, the mafia got like 25 cents off of it. You see what I'm saying? That's a gangster. Extortion. You see what I'm saying? Like, when we choose his ways and we envy him, we start to do the things that he did to gain his wealth. You see what I'm saying? The Lord don't want us living that kind of lifestyle. He don't want us selling drugs to each other. He don't want us selling drugs, period. He don't want us taking drugs. He don't want us pimping out women. You see what I'm saying? He don't want us doing anything for unlawful gain. You see what I'm saying? But this is how oppressor gets ahead. But the Lord just told us, envy not him. Envy not this oppressor. Choose none of his ways. You see what I'm saying? His ways is, and here's the thing. His ways is when he get angry. When the oppressor get angry, he has to go to war. You see what I'm saying? He has to pick up firearms, just like with that Boston Tea Party. You see what I'm saying? He got to go and do something about that. Why is that? Why did he have to pick up arms, and why did he have to go out there and hurt other people? Why did he have to do that? Why do our oppressor got to do that? Good.
Slack as it because, you know what I mean, that's who they are. Like, they were really wicked. You know what I'm saying?
That's true, but it's another vital reason why he has to be the one to pick up guns. He has to be the one to go out and unalive people for the things that he wants. When he feels like he's been beaten and tried and oppressed, he has to go out there and he has to physically do harm. Why is that? Anybody in the chat, you can answer that too. You see what I'm saying? For time's sake, I'll give it to you. Here's the thing. Because they do not have a God that's going to fight for them.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Like this oppressor, the one thing that you're going to see, and like you'll see it to this day, he has to go to war. He has to do certain things because he don't have a power that's going to fight for him and get it righteously.
Cool.
You see what I'm saying? That's just like the Arabs. They don't have a God that's going to fight for them. That's why they got to go and do what they do. You see what I'm saying? The so-called white man, he obtained his independence by violence. You see what I'm saying? He had to lift the sword. He had to go out there, unalive people. He had to go lies, cheat, steal, and murder. You see what I'm saying? For him to gain his riches in this in his kingdom. Is that how we're going to obtain ours?
Wow.
Nah, how we going to obtain ours? Go ahead, Brian.
Let's serve the Most High.
Let's serve the Most High. That's right. We actually have a power that's going to fight for us.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Our job is not to go out here and you know, go out here and start wars and this, that, and the third. That's not our job. You see what I'm saying? Our job is to come back and keep these laws, statutes, and commandments. This is how we fight. This is our fight right now. It says it's not carnal, but your fight is spiritual. You got to fight your demons out. You see what I'm saying? You got to stop eating pork. You got to stop eating crab and lobster. We got to stop being hoes. Stop being whoremongers. You see what I'm saying? Stop being drug dealers and gangbangers. You see what I'm saying? That's how we fight. You see what I'm saying? Because we have a power that told us. As a matter of fact, drop that real quick. Let me get Exodus 23 and 22.
Come on. Exodus chapter 23, verse 22, sir.
Mm-hmm.
Come on. Exodus chapter 2. So I can remember. Exodus chapter 23, verse 22. But if thou shalt indeed obey his voice and do all that I speak, then I will be an enemy unto thine enemies.
The Lord said, if you do everything that I tell you to do, you listen to the things I tell you to do, you keep these laws, statutes, and commandments, I'm going to become an enemy to your enemies. You see what I'm saying? And this is how we're going to gain our kingdom. You see what I'm saying? This is why we do the work that we do. This is why we serve the Lord the way we serve the Lord. You see what I'm saying? We just heard that if we keep his laws, statutes, and commandments and come back to serving him, the enemies that we have will become the Lord's enemies. So them ICE agents, you see what I'm saying? That's terrorizing and kidnapping our Hispanic brothers.
Right.
They're enemies to our people out. They're enemies to our brothers. We come back keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments, the Lord will then be an enemy to the ICE agents. The Lord will then be an enemy to this kingdom that we're serving right now. You see what I'm saying? This is how we fight, because we have a living power. The Most High is living. You see what I'm saying? These other nations, they got to do certain things because their God is false. They don't have a God that's out there fighting for them. So they got to unalive. They got to deal with treachery and barbarism and murder. You see what I'm saying? They have to do it. Otherwise, how would they function? How would they get ahead? But that's why going back to Proverbs 3 and 31, it said, envy not the oppressor and choose none of his ways, because when we do those things, we become worse than him. We become worse than him when we choose his ways, because we sin against our only power. You see what I'm saying? We turn our backs against our people. We do things to hurt our people, the Lord's people, when we choose his ways. That's something we can't do. Celebrating the so-called white man's Independence Day is choosing his ways. You see what I'm saying? Celebrating his independence. You know, we laugh and joke. Well, I ain't gonna say laugh and joke, but like, you know how people talk about how like the slaves back in the day, if master got sick, you know, master, is we sick today?
Right.
You see what I'm saying? This is no different from that.
Right.
When we celebrate Independence Day and July 4th, that's no different from us asking master, is he sick? When he's sick, I'm not sick. There's no difference. You see what I'm saying? Our people, our brothers and sisters, our forefathers and foremothers were getting a back beat
Right.
when he got his Independence Day. How can we then turn around and observe and celebrate that same day with him? That make us traitors to our people, man.
Right.
We become traitors to the Lord and to our people, man, when we celebrate July 4th. Listen, I ain't saying that, you know, you can't eat a burger and whatnot on Friday and nothing like that. But you got so many black people, so many Hispanics, so many natives that's gonna go out there. They're gonna spend a lot of money. They're gonna put that American flag in their front yard. They're gonna tell stories of how they're so grateful to be in America and how they're so blessed to be here. And God bless America. You're gonna hear it all Friday. You see what I'm saying? How can we say that when our people were slaves, man? The so-called white man know how to honor his ancestors. You see what I'm saying? We have to learn to honor ours. You see what I'm saying? And we start by not keeping these holidays, man, not keeping July 4th for Independence Day. Go ahead.
Like, so you bring us real heavy. And the problem where a lot of us don't even follow behind our ancestors and right, is because of Christianity. If you think about it, right? Christianity teaches us to love everybody else instead of ourselves.
Right.
And then, so we go out here on July 4th and about to celebrate and praise the devil. The whole time, when it comes to blacks doing something, Christian church be like, nah, you're supposed to love everybody. Don't be isolated. But every other nation is isolated when it comes to them and their people.
Right.
So it's like, yo, the Christian church is destroying our people.
And what you're saying is heavy because that's the root of it all. You see what I'm saying? We've been taught to love everybody except each other. You see what I'm saying? If black people learn to love each other, you know what you're considered? You know what we're considered? A hate group. No, we consider a hate group. You know why we consider a hate group? Because if we sit around and discuss all the atrocities that's happened to us and our people, and how there has been when I say no, there has been no punishment. There has been no one has been punished for the things that happened to us in our history. You see what I'm saying? Everybody else, if you look at the so-called Jewish man, you see what I'm saying, in their Holocaust, like they still arrest Nazi war criminals still to this day. Still to this day, like they realize that in order for them to have vengeance or in order for them to have justice, you got to bring the people who did something to them to justice. The problem with us is we don't understand justice unless it's for somebody else. You see what I'm saying? Because we're so not used to getting. Everybody else understand what justice is except us. You feel me? And that's the problem that we have because of that Christian church. You see what I'm saying? If I could drop that, let me get Ecclesiastes 77, brother, for sure.
Come. 7 verse 7, sir.
If anybody online got any questions, you can post that in the chat. Anybody in the room got a question, raise your hand and ask your question here as well.
Come.
Go ahead.
Ecclesiastes 7 verse 7. Surely oppression maketh a wise man mad.
It says, surely oppression maketh a wise man mad. You see what I'm saying? That when you hear scripture that says surely oppression maketh a wise man mad, when you see us as a people and we're just so happy and so jolly and so, joy loving and we so bubbly celebrating their traditions and their holidays, you see what I'm saying? That shows a lack of wisdom. That shows a lack of understanding on our part. You see what I'm saying? Because when you know what happened to our people,
Right.
and you know our history,
Right.
the anger that you feel, the only thing that can curb that is the truth.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? When you start realizing what happened to your forefathers and your foremothers, and what still happened to our people to this day, the only thing that can give you the discipline not to do what you want to do within your carnal self is the truth of it. You see what I'm saying? And it's not saying nothing's wrong with being angry. You see what I'm saying? There's nothing wrong with being angry. But be angry and don't sin.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Be angry enough to keep these laws, statutes, and commandments. You see what I'm saying? Like that's one of the things that brought me into this truth. You see what I'm saying? Being angry and feeling like, damn, but I really can't do nothing about it. You see what I'm saying? You looking at and you seeing the oppression that your people go through. You see what our people go through on a day-to-day basis. You see what I'm saying? And if you don't have the understanding of the truth, outside of you wilding and get, putting yourself in a predicament to serve life in prison, what is it that you can do?
Right.
You see what I'm saying? That's what you left with. That's why a lot of brothers, they start getting high. A lot of brothers go to drinking. A lot of brothers start doing other things to deal with and to cope with the oppression that they're suffering, knowing that they can't do nothing about it.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? But when you come into this truth, you realize there is something that you can do about it. You see what I'm saying? When you keep these law, statutes, and commandments, when you do what the Lord is telling you to do, you pray to the Lord for him to look at you and say, you know what, I got a reason to come back and put these things right.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Like that's the thing that's going to sustain you. That's the thing that's going to keep you, despite the fact that you're angry, you knowing that you keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments is what the Lord wants. And the Lord already said that if, you start keeping these laws, statutes, and commandments, your enemies are going to become my enemies.
Right.
You know that one day, because you following these scriptures, the Lord is going to turn the tide, and the Lord is going to avenge your people. You see what I'm saying? That's why I say, surely oppression maketh a wise man mad. Keep going.
Come. And a gift destroyeth the heart.
They say, and the gift destroyeth the heart. You see what I'm saying? A lot of times they give black people a little token,
right,
to shut you up.
Come.
You see what I'm saying? Didn't I give you a good job? Don't you have a well-paying job? Can't you feed your family? You have a nice house. You live in a nice community. You have a nice car. You see what I'm saying? What are you complaining about? And then what they say, things aren't like it used to be. Black people have rights. Black people have come a long way. Your people have come a long way. Like, I don't see how you can still be angry from slavery. You didn't even go through it, and you look at you. You're living in America. You got a house. You got a job. You got a car. You see what I'm saying? These are the gifts. These are the so-called gifts that destroy the heart, because you got some brothers and you got some sisters, because they got a good job, it's damn near people. You see what I'm saying?
Come.
Because they didn't brought a big house, it's damn near people. You see what I'm saying? Like, you hear them talk. I heard them on slavery, I heard them on TV. Look at the athletes, look at the entertainers. You see what I'm saying? Look at the doctors and the lawyers, the professionals. You see what I'm saying? They get money. You think they get money and stay in the hood and build the hood? Right. They don't. They get money and they go into the oppressor and give the money right back. You see what I'm saying? They say oppression make a wise man mad, and the gift destroys the heart. That's the gift that destroys the heart. Go ahead.
Like, so it's the Christian church. So, like, you know how many people growing up, me and my brother called them on the King generation. So they quit to preach to us. Well, you know what I'm saying? You can go get it. And if your friend or whatever don't get it, it ain't because of oppression. It's because you was able to go get it. And then like it make you separate yourself from your people for real. You know what I'm saying? Like if I do something good, you feel me? I should lead them because they should have been able to do it too.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? And like that's just like taught and preached when I was growing up. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's just the Christian church, man. Everything a lot of our parents and everything they learned came from the Christian church, and it's just having a lasting effect on our people.
God. And what you're saying is heavy because that's what happens. You see what I'm saying? They tell you quit. Well, you know, we came from the same place. Like, just a side story. Like, I remember, this is even before I came to the truth. You saying this is when I was watching videos, and I'm like, man, shit, I got to make contact with the UPK. You see what I'm saying? Like, I'm watching videos, like, you know, I'm in it in my mind. I'm in the truth. You see what I'm saying? And there was a brother, him and his red, you know, kind of like on the uppity side, you know, like they're a little above people. They're a little above the average black person. You see what I'm saying? Like, you know how they say there's N-words and then there's black people. They consider themselves black people and everybody else is N-words. You feel me? So I remember the husband, you know, he tried to kind of group me. You know, we went out and because I knew their parents. So we went out and, you know, just chilling. And he said, yeah, because, you know, I came from the hood, you came from the hood, but we did something with ourselves, you see? We made something of ourselves. If a person ain't willing to make something of ourselves, you got to leave them where they at. You know, the only thing I could think to utter in response to that, we ain't the same, my nigga, you feel me? We not the same. You see what I'm saying? Like, in your mind, you're better than where you came from.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? So you willing to rag on your people to impress people who's ragging on you.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? We not the same. You see what I'm saying? Because I'd rather go and get my people and stay with my people. Whereas though you're ready to throw your people away and then talk down on them. You see what I'm saying? This is something that's taught. And it's taught for a reason. Like I always tell people when I was in the electrical trade, IBEW. You see what I'm saying? It's international. It's all around the world. If you're in any city in America, even outside of America, you got an international brotherhood of electrical workers. And job sites you go to, because you're a minority, you actually got to sign in because you're a minority. And that's to prove, because it was laws that say you got to have a certain percentage of minorities on the job. You see what I'm saying? They're not letting you in. They're not letting you in that door because they care about you, because they want to see you succeed. They're letting you in because this is a form of them keeping the so-called law that they were supposed to keep. So that's the gift that they give you. Well, didn't we hire you? You see what I'm saying? Don't you have a good job? Can't you feed your family? And that's the gift that destroy a lot of our hearts, like blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, because we think that we've arrived. Meanwhile, as soon as something go down and they done with you, you can see they can take whatever so-called wealth you think you had, they'll take it away from you. You see what I'm saying? That's why the Lord said, oppression make him a wise man mad, and the gift destroy of a heart. You feel me? That's exactly what happens. You see what I'm saying? Let me get Amos 5:21, brother, for sure.
Come on. Amos chapter 5, verse 21. I hate.
What?
I hate.
The Christians say that the Lord don't hate. The Christians say that the Lord don't hate. That's the emotion he doesn't have. You see what I'm saying? Because he's all love. Here is the Lord saying that he hates something. What is it that he hates? Go ahead.
I despise. Meaning like this is something completely and utterly detestable to me. When you despise something like just the thought of it, you see what I'm saying, disgust you. You see what I'm saying? Go ahead. Your feast days.
Your what?
Feast days.
He said the Lord said he hates your feast days, your feast days. You see what I'm saying? When he say your feast days, because we make the so-called white man feast days our own. You see what I'm saying? July 4th for Independence Day, that's supposed to be a feast day. You see what I'm saying? The so-called white man gonna feast. He gonna buy all the hamburgers. He gonna buy all the hot dogs. He gonna buy all the swine that he can find, and he gonna get on that grill and he gonna throw it up on Friday. You see what I'm saying? He gonna commemorate what they did in 1776. And guess who gonna be joining right with us?
Right.
Yeah, blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans right now. Right now. They prepping their meat right now. Because they gonna put it in the air on Friday. It's going right on that grill. You see what I'm saying? The Lord say, I despise your feast days. Keep going.
And I will not smell in your solemn assemblies.
The Lord said, I will not smell in your solemn assembly. You see what I'm saying? The Lord is not, here's the thing. You're going to get around and you're going to cook them hamburgers and hot dogs, and they're going to make a prayer and they're going to say, God bless America. God does not smell none of that. You see what I'm saying? God does not want no parts of none of that. You see what I'm saying? God is not in it. You see what I'm saying? Like, you're blessing, you're celebrating your oppressor and what he had to do to get free. But meanwhile, the same thing that he told you that you can't do to get free is what he did to get free.
Right.
And if you were to do the same thing, you would be persecuted. You see what I'm saying? If blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans rose up against this oppressor the same way he rose up against the British, they'd be called in the National Guard. They already called in the military over in California. You see what I'm saying? The Marines, they didn't call them in because of protests. Imagine if blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans actually did something about the oppression that we were suffering. You see what I'm saying? It would be a full-out war in which they would call the United States military to level blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. You see what I'm saying? That's exactly what would happen. Keep going.
Verse 22. Though ye offer me burnt offerings and your meat offerings, I will not accept them. Neither will I regard the peace offering of your fat beasts.
The Lord said, listen, you're going to pray over that food. You're going to pray over that food and you're going to thank me for it. And I won't smell it.
Right.
I have no parts of it. You see what I'm saying? Like what you got going on, I'm not a part of it. You see what I'm saying? That's what we got to understand. The Lord does not want blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans celebrating these holidays, man.
Right.
It has nothing to do with our people. It has nothing to do with our God. This is something the so-called white man, he should be doing on his own. You see what I'm saying? We're going to be the ones spending all the money, getting all the meats and stuff like that. We're going to be the ones going broke, celebrating somebody else's holiday. And you know what's going to happen? You know what's going to happen because we celebrating these holidays, unfortunately? What's going to happen on July 4th? Good.
Some of us going to become unalive.
A lot of us going to become unalive. You're going to get a report Monday morning, July 4th weekend shooting. 25 dead, 25 shot, 30 injured. You see what I'm saying? All across America. And it's going to be in our neighborhoods.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? It's going to be in our communities where you're going to see brothers getting unalive, brothers getting injured and hurt. All because we celebrating something we shouldn't have. We ain't got nothing, no parts of it. Anyone? Go ahead.
Right. So like keeping the laws, man, keep it wisdom, right? Because back in the day when we would celebrate July 4th, we went on to the harbor.
Yeah.
Be so deep out there fighting whatever who they do. As you get older, you realize like you wasn't supposed to be going celebrating these holidays and all that stuff. Like you think about it, like when you young, you don't be paying attention to it, but you realize like, bro, a lot of us getting unalive when we be down there doing all that stuff. People got stabbed, all that stuff while we down there. And I'm like, yo, we used to be happy to go down there and celebrate the 4th of July.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's a fact that every 4th of July, like matter of fact, every holiday, you know what I'm saying? A lot of our people end up unalive.
And right. And that's the reality of it. You see what I'm saying? Every holiday, it's blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans that get unalive. You see what I'm saying? Like you go downtown right now, it's people that's downtown right now that you won't see next week. You see what I'm saying? Because we want to celebrate and we want to keep this oppressor's holiday. Like we got to understand who we dealing with here.
Right.
We're not dealing with no sucker. We're not dealing with no, light-hearted, soft walking, soft talking God. You see what I'm saying? We're dealing with the Most High power. You see what I'm saying? We're dealing with the Most High. Like the Most High, you got to realize He unalive brothers for trying to catch an ark. You see what I'm saying? Like, you got to realize who you're dealing with. You're not dealing with somebody that you can just do whatever you want to do and you gonna think things sweet. Like I always say, in the hood, you know you can't do that anyway, right?
Right.
Every hood got a depot. Every hood got that one person that you know, man, shorty come around, you already know something gonna happen. He says every hood got it. If you can understand that on a physical level, imagine what you're dealing with on a spiritual level. You're dealing with a God that he will not only unalive you, he will unalive your children, he will unalive your mother, your father, anything that you love, he will unalive. You see what I'm saying? He ain't the one to be played with, man. And then we wonder why our sons and daughters getting shot in the back of the head.
Right.
I think it was here in Baltimore a couple years back up in what was that? Up at Tapsico, like what's that area called?
All right.
No, up at Tapsico. Brooklyn.
Oh, bro.
Wasn't that the shooting where like 30 some people got shot?
Yeah, I think it was Cherry Hill.
Yeah, it's like in the Cherry Hill, Westport area. Yeah. They had a cookout on July 4th, and it got shot. The whole thing got shot up. You see what I'm saying? People getting shot, people getting unalive, people getting hurt. You see what I'm saying? Like that's what happens when we celebrate this oppressive holiday, man. Keep going any more on that?
Come. So like verse 23.
Go ahead, read that.
Verse 23. Take thou away from me the noise of thy songs, for I will not hear the melody of thy vows.
Yeah, Lord don't even want to hear the music you playing. You see what I'm saying? Like, think about that. You know, you got Christian churches, they gonna be playing them hymnals. You see what I'm saying? They're gonna be playing that piano and banging that tambourine. You see what I'm saying? Thanking the Lord for his independence, for making America independent. And they're gonna be playing that, all that music. The Lord don't hear none of that garbage, you feel? It means absolutely nothing to him. The Lord said, take this noise away from me, man. And this is what we got to understand, man. The Lord is not a part of these holidays, especially no Independence Day of our oppressor. Like if you never knew anything that we talk about, just the simple fact that we were still slaves when the so-called white man got his independence. In what world is that? In what world is that concerning us to where so we got to celebrate his Independence Day?
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Listen, the Asians don't celebrate Independence Day, the so-called white man's Independence Day. The East Indians don't celebrate it. The Africans don't celebrate it. Why is it that Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans celebrate it?
Stockholm syndrome.
There you go. The Stockholm syndrome. You see what I'm saying? We begin to love the same people that abused us, man. Have an affinity for them. And that's the issue we have, you know. Okay, let me get Psalms 55 and 21, but for sure.
Come on. It's like 51, 21.
55 and 21.
Come on. Psalm chapter 55, verse 21. The words of his mouth were smoother than butter.
They say the words of his mouth were smoother than butter. You see what I'm saying? We go back to these poems that these Sons of Liberty wrote. You see what I'm saying? The midnight ride, you know, give me liberty or give me death, you know. It's smooth as butter. You see what I'm saying? It sound good, you know. But you say all that, and then you disguise yourself as a Native American Indian.
Right.
And it put me in the mindset of, remember a few years ago, it was a so-called white man. He shot up that, I think it was either Home Depot or
the market. I know
it was a market.
Buffalo.
Yeah. He shot it up. You see what I'm saying? Killed so many Hispanics. You see what I'm saying? And then he went outside, dropped his gun, and surrendered. But And then when they went back to his social media pages, he said, "Death before dishonor. They gotta kill me before they take me in." You see what I'm saying? He pretty much said he's gonna go before they take him in.
Right.
So he unalives our brothers and sisters and then comes out and surrenders. You see what I'm saying? That's the cowardness of it. You feel me?
Right.
The words sound good, it's smooth as butter. You see what I'm saying? Like they tell you, America, we fought for our independence. You see what I'm saying? We had brave men that came up and they did what they had to do for us to live the life that we live right now. It should sound good. You see what I'm saying? It's smooth as butter. Keep going.
But war was in his heart.
But war is in his heart. You see what I'm saying? War is always in his heart. Never forget that. You see what I'm saying? So when they talking these light words to you, they trying to, their smooth words is just to seduce you.
Right.
Their smooth words are just to get your guards down. You understand? Like a lot of us came from the hood. Some people didn't come from the hood, but a lot of us came from the hood. You feel? You already know when the dudes start trying to talk to you a certain kind of way, you know he's trying to line you up. You see what I'm saying? Like, but you don't need to talk like this. You see what I'm saying? Like, why you feel what you want me to come here for? Why you being so generous? You see what I'm saying? You go to prison. Somebody talking to you smooth words and stuff like that. They lining you up. You see what I'm saying? This is what the so-called white man does. When he talk nice and he's very patriotic and July 4th, I mean, they wholeheartedly believe that the Lord is with them. They wholeheartedly believe that the Lord is who delivered them from all of their oppressors and Britain and all of that. They feel like the Lord did that for them. That's the smooth words, you feel? But it's a war is in his heart. War is in his heart, man. And guess who his war is for? His war is for us.
Right.
His war is for us. You see what I'm saying? That's why the scripture said, never trust thine enemy. Never trust him. You see what I'm saying? How can we trust him? Like every time that we've trusted him, he's betrayed us. He's unallowed us. And yet we still go out here and celebrate what he tells us to celebrate.
Right.
We still go out here and we put on shows for him so he can feel good and leave his conscience feeling satisfied. You see what I'm saying? No, that's not the way. They say his words are smooth as butter, but war is in his heart. Any more on that?
Come.
Go ahead.
His words were softer than oil.
His words are softer than oil. You see what I'm saying? He talks sweet, man. He'll talk and hey, you feel like you better, put your American flag up and be ready to run through it. You feel me? In patriotism. That's how a lot of black people feel. God bless America. You got black people who feel like that out. You see what I'm saying? Like, America is the land of milk and honey. The Lord put us here, and he put us under this white man because the white man is his people. You got black people who feel that way. That's because the words are smooth as butter. You see what I'm saying? The words are like honey. You see what I'm saying? And that Christian church is nothing but a vessel of white supremacy.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Go ahead. You got something?
Yes, like I said, they always come with that smile, like everything is all friendly. And then when you turn your back, they straighten that right on up. You might walk past one of those white folks, and then they smile right in your face, like everything all good. And then say you look back at it, they straighten up real quick. So they try to portray that words are smooth, but they talk nice and sweet. Like the scripture said, war is in their heart.
Yeah, war is always in their heart. You see what I'm saying? Like, trust and believe me when I tell you, if you on the slavery and you think that you're around a good white person, trust me when I tell you, he's looking for a way to get you fired or she's looking for a way to get you out of there. Let you slip up and make one mistake. Let you do something that they don't agree with. They gonna HR right on you. This war in their heart out. If you look at the climate of this country right now, you see what I'm saying? Like you got, and I looked this up. One of the most quickest rising illegal immigrant populations in this country is who? Is it the Hispanics?
Live.
It's not. Who is
The Europeans.
the Asians?
What are they doing?
Them Asians. You see what I'm saying? ICE, them Asians ain't got to worry in the world right now. ICE ain't going after them. You see what I'm saying? That words is smoother than butter and wars in his heart. That's for us. That's for us. And yet we still go out there and we try to impress him. We want to say the right thing. We want to speak a certain way. We want to appear to be different than our brothers. You see what I'm saying? What they call a code switch. You want to talk different around them. You see what I'm saying? Nah. Be who you is. You know?
It's like,
Good.
like, no. Good. Sorry.
Let me get drop that. Let me get Lamentations 4:17.
You want to read verse 22?
Yeah, go ahead. Finish that off.
All right, Psalm 55, verse 22. Cast thy burden upon the Lord, and he shall sustain thee. He shall never suffer the righteousness to be moved.
Yeah, you can't say cast your burden upon the Lord, man. Like here's the thing, and this is actually going to lead us right to the next scripture. Here's the thing. A lot of times when we go through things and when things happen to us, do we turn to the Lord? We don't turn to the Lord. You know who we turn to? We turn to the same person that put us in that situation. That's why we go to and we go and we vote.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? That's why we go and we uphold these different political parties and stuff like that. Because we're going to the same people who put us in the situation, and we're going to them for them to fix us. It don't make sense.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Us celebrating July 4th, most black people, the majority of black people realize that July 4th is not for black people.
Right.
You do have something that feels like I'm full-blood American. You see what I'm saying? This is my day to celebrate. You do got something like that. But for the most part, most brothers and sisters realize July 4th is not for black people. It's not for Hispanics. It's not for natives. You see what I'm saying? But a lot of black people are too afraid to stand up against this oppressor. You see what I'm saying? You know how you on the slayer and everything, what are you going to put on the grill for the 4th? I'm trying to celebrate this. You see what I'm saying? I ain't putting nothing on the grill. I'm going to eat Hispanic food. I want to eat a burrito on July 4th. You feel me? I'm not going to eat a hamburger or a hot dog, not because it's a sin to do so. I don't even want to be in the same spirit as them on that day. You see what I'm saying? You tell this oppressor that he's going to get offended. He's going to get offended. And then when you start talking about the history of it, he's really going to look at you and say, you know what? You're still angry. You should be over this. Affirmative action. That's what they always bring. Affirmative action. You guys have come a long way. You shouldn't even be angry anymore. That's because that's the war in their heart. You see what I'm saying? We don't turn to the Lord when we're going through something. We turn to this man. And it's the same man that got nothing but disdain for us.
Right.
Read that again.
Psalm chapter 55, verse 23. Select it 22. Cast thy burden upon the Lord.
Cast thy burden upon the Lord. Go to the Lord with this burden. You see what I'm saying? Go ahead.
And he shall sustain thee.
And he shall sustain thee. You see what I'm saying? The Most High is going to be the one to sustain us, not this oppressor.
Right.
Good.
He shall never suffer the righteous to be moved.
They say he will never suffer the righteous to be moved. Here's the thing. We have to be righteous.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? We got to actually keep the law, statutes, and commandments of the Lord, man, in order for him to fight for us. A lot of people think that, and this is where the Christian church is so disgusting. We got kicked out of our homeland, and we got brought into this oppression and into this slavery as a punishment because we stopped keeping God's law, statutes, and commandments. So if we got punished and kicked out for not keeping it then, how is not keeping it now the answer?
Right.
You see what I'm saying? How can the Lord then bless us? Like they always say, this is the land of milk and honey. The Lord sent us over here because, this is what, you got a lot of black people who feel like slavery was a good thing, which is crazy. Go ahead.
So, my people, right? They went to the past and next. Because I was like, yo, y'all claim like when Christ come back, the whole world, they got to hear the truth from, the saying the Christians be saying, like, in order for Christ to come back, the whole world got to know the truth, right?
Okay.
So I'm like, yo, you do know we only learn Christianity from the white people from slavery. They like, well, understand this, God use anybody as a vessel. The past is saying this. So he like, we should be thankful for what the white man did, right, because he gave us Christianity. We would not know the Lord.
Right.
I'm like, yo, that's crazy. So, right. Yeah.
What you're saying is heavy because you got a lot of black people who think that. A lot of black people think that slavery was a good thing because if not for slavery, we would not have gotten the chance to know God. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's what a lot of black people believe. You see what I'm saying? And this is why Christianity, what they teach us, is so disgusting. You feel me? And this is why the Lord is against them pastors. Because here's the thing, like I was saying, if we got kicked out, if I kick my son out my house because he's not following my rules, if he go to another house and continue the lifestyle he was living, am I still going to bless it? Am I going to all of a sudden bless him then? That don't even make sense. You see what I'm saying? I'm not going to bless him until he stopped doing what he's doing and then come back to doing what I tell him to do. You see what I'm saying? Like, and this is the hypocrisy of that Christian church. This is the hypocrisy of this so-called white man. You see what I'm saying? Drop that, Michelle. Let me get Lamentations 4:17.
Come.
Yeah, any questions, anything like that?
Lots of it.
Okay.
Lamentations chapter 4, verse 17. As for us, our eyes as yet failed for our vain help. In our watching we have watched for a nation that could not save us.
And this is where we're at right now. This is what we're just reading about. It say, as for us, our eyes have yet failed for our vain help. Like, we look into the oppressor for him to save us out of the conditions he put us in. That's why I say our eyes have yet failed us for our vain help. The help he gave us is empty.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? It means absolutely nothing. It's not really help. You see what I'm saying? Even when we spoke about the gift that destroyed the heart, that gift is empty.
Right.
That gift is to destroy us, man. It's vain. It means absolutely nothing. They say, in our watching, we have watched for a nation that could not save us, man. This is the problem that we had. Us celebrating the Independence Day of the so-called white man in July 4th, us celebrating that is us trying to appease the so-called white man.
Right.
Is us trying to summon whatever patriotism we have in us to show him we are the same.
Right.
We are one. Despite the fact that he'll never look at us as the same, because we're not. You see what I'm saying? Like, we have to as a people, we got to understand that there's nothing that you can do that's going to make him believe that you should ever be one of, equal to him, damn sure not above him. You see what I'm saying? It's nothing you can do. The only thing that you can do then, and he'll give you a few more gifts for, is turn against your own people.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? When you turn against your own people and you become, if you become one of them people that are vessel, if you become one of the vessels that he used to destroy your people, then he gonna keep them trinkets coming. He gonna keep them gifts that's gonna destroy you coming. You see what I'm saying? Go ahead.
Like, I see this firsthand, right? So, I was in Esau military, right?
Yeah.
And it's like the black people that's higher up, higher rank and all that. The military itself, all black Spanish, First Nation people, is racist, just like in this land. But when you get under like black leaders, they more racist than the devils.
Yeah.
Like I mean, we got a situation they're calling us the Nino Browns and all this crew, and I'm like, bro, why is that something you want to call me in front of them? You understand? Like, I mean, we know what that is. You feel me? But we in the military. But like, they go out their way to make an example of another black person more than the devils would.
And why is that?
Because they want to appease the devil.
They have to.
Come.
You see what I'm saying? They have to. You see what I'm saying? This is why I say, like, who else is worse? That's our people. They worse than the devils.
Well, if they were.
Whatever professions.
Come.
Police officer.
Come.
You see what I'm saying? If you encounter a black police officer,
At least my skin and get a white so that they accept themselves. That's outrageous. Can somebody comment on our page?
I don't know, look into that.
Yeah, I don't need that in my mind.
Yeah, no. So like, yeah. Here's the thing. If you look at if you ever had experiences with black police, a lot of times they're more aggressive. They're a lot more ruder than their white counterparts, especially if they're together.
Come.
You know, a black police will wear you out if his white counterpart is there. You see what I'm saying? Go ahead.
So that's basically like the young boys that
Come.
Yeah.
say when the black guy was talking about, I think his name was Trey.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he wouldn't get him dirty. And the
So-
white guy was standing,
Yeah.
chill out. And he was doing the extra hard on him. I
And
don't think that was his name, wasn't it?
Yeah. That was the name. You talk about Cooper Good and Jane
Yeah, that was his name.
yeah, that was his name.
Come.
And the thing is, he has to do that. You know why? He has to prove that he hates us just as much as his white counterpart.
Come.
The only way he's going to get promoted is to prove himself. He can't do that to he can't. That same black police officer cannot go and do that to a so-called white man.
Right.
That so-called white police is going to intervene, and he's going to reprimand him for that. But he can do it against his own people because he has to show, I hate them just as much as you do. Matter of fact, I hate them more.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? And this is what you're going to see. This is what you've seen. You know, that's why I say, like, you know, we've looked for people. We've looked toward people to save us that could not save us, man. And what it do is it turns us against each other.
Come.
Because here's the thing. If I'm shucking the job and if I'm putting on form and you not, that's a clear divide between me and you.
Come.
You can't be for your people and I can't be for the man. And we be the same. We
Right.
can't be bros.
Come.
So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna show the man how much I'm gonna do to you. You feel me? And that's how I'm gonna get my promotion. That's how I'm gonna rise in the ranks. You see what I'm saying? And this is what happens with our people, man. Any more on that?
Like, I mean, you can verse 18.
Go ahead.
Lamentation chapter 4, verse 18. They hunt our steps, that we cannot go in our streets. Our end is near, our days are fulfilled, for our end is come.
Yeah, and this is what happens. You see what I'm saying? Like, we got to realize the same tactics that they fought with in 1776 when they fought against the British. They've only enhanced those tactics as they oppress us. You see what I'm saying? So the same tactics that they were getting oppressed with is the same tactics that they used to oppress us, but they took it even further. You see what I'm saying? Like, do you know how much of a war tactic that was for them to dress up as Native American Indians?
Right.
Because if something go wrong, you didn't come into my neighborhood looking for me. You going into that village and you gonna unalive all the Native American Indians who had nothing to do with nothing. You see what I'm saying? That's because you hate them. You hate our people. You hate blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. That's why, like, even to this day, that war, that war was whatever war the so-called white man is in, and when I say any war, not just America, if you look at Russia, if you look at Ukraine, if you look at Israel, you look at everybody that they find, every nation that they go against, somehow, some way, it's going to come back to blacks or Hispanics. It's going to come back to us being the problem. It's going to come back to us being the issue. You see what I'm saying? Because they really hunt our steps, man. They really hunt our steps. Good.
So like that's just like in Israel, they had a lady, I think it was like a year ago. But mind you, they got all this stuff going on in the world about them being fighting with
I
Hamas
say, I
and
know
all
where
that.
you're going with
And
that.
she was like, you know, the biggest biggest problem our people face is the black youth in America.
Yep, I remember that.
Like, bro, like you in war right now.
They was in war. I remember that video. I wish you could find that video. It was a lady. She was at some kind of convention, and she said in her mouth that they literally in war. And she said the biggest issue that they have is young blacks in America. You see what I'm saying? This is the issue that we have, and yet and still, we try to appease them and we try to be one with them by celebrating their holiday. That had nothing to do with us, man. You see what I'm saying? If you Black, Hispanic, and Native American in 2025, and we still celebrating July 4th, you just celebrated. They just gave so-called blacks a holiday, Juneteenth. So Juneteenth is commemorating when so-called blacks got freedom, right? If that's celebrating our freedom, that says before then we were still slaves. So how can you celebrate our freedom and then celebrate the independence of the so-called white man? You see what I'm saying? How can you do both? So for everybody who took pride in celebrating Juneteenth, which was garbage, that's just another trinket, that's another gift that's going to destroy the heart. You see what I'm saying? But for whoever celebrated Juneteenth, you should not be celebrating July 4th at the very minimum. You see what I'm saying? Because you celebrating Juneteenth pretty much, so it pretty much confirms the fact that we were still slaves when the so-called white man got his. So how could you celebrate both of them? You become a hypocrite and a traitor to yourself, to the Most High, and to your people by celebrating July 4th. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You got that?
I think it's the video. It says Black people.
Peace, family. My name is.
Can you find an actual video
Yeah,
or just commentary?
you got the video in there, but I don't want to put it on.
It's gone.
Yeah.
That's how we're gonna get that next class. So we're gonna show that. Yeah, this is the issue that we have and now, with our people. You see what I'm saying? Like, we want to be everything to everybody except each other.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? Celebrating July 4th is like a death sentence to blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans. You see what I'm saying? Let me ask you a question. What is blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans? What is our Independence Day? What's our Independence Day? Let's say Brian. We're going to show the difference in our Independence Day and their Independence Day.
I would say our Independence Day, we don't have an Independence Day.
We have one. You see what I'm saying? We definitely have one. So that I know you know. Passover.
That was
Passover is the black, Hispanic, and Native
That's
American Independence Day. I ain't right. Give it up for the Lord. You see what I'm saying? This is. You got to remember, Egypt was a superpower just like America was. It is to this day. You see what I'm saying? The Lord went through and unalived the firstborn son of every household, man, every household in Egypt, whether it was man, whether it was beast, it was any firstborn son of every household that did not have that blood above it or on the sides of it. You see what I'm saying? And the Lord unalived them. And we walked right out of Egypt. We walked out free men. We didn't have to lift the sword. You see what I'm saying? That army came after us. The Lord swallowed them up in the Red Sea. You see what I'm saying? That's how our God, our power fights for us. He make a way for us to actually be free without us having to go to war and pick up guns and do all this deceitful stuff. You see what I'm saying? That's how we got that. That's our Independence Day. And guess what? We're going to have another Independence Day here. There's going to be another Independence Day where the Lord is going to set us free from this country, from this kingdom. You You see what I'm saying? What we got to do is we got to stay steadfast and we got to hold the fort. You see what I'm saying? Keep these laws, statutes, and commandments, man. Keep these laws, statutes, and commandments to serve the Lord the way he said to be served. Like, if you look at all these other nations, like I was saying earlier, they have to have nuclear weapons. They have to have bombs. You see what I'm saying? They have to fight their wars that way because their gods are false.
Right.
And they don't have gods that's going to fight for them. We have a living power. We have the most high power on our side who's saying that, listen, the moment you turn back to me, your enemy becomes my enemy. You see what I'm saying? Anybody who touch you, I'm going to get with them.
Right.
That's what the Most High said. Same way he did in Egypt. It's the same way he'd do in America. You see what I'm saying? That's our Independence Day, the Lord's Passover. You see what I'm saying? And we're going to see it firsthand, even in this country.
Right.
When the Lord comes through, and he comes through and he passes over in America. You see what I'm saying? We got to understand that us celebrating and us trying to be a part of everything that this oppressor is doing, all it's doing is allowing the Lord to remain an enemy of ours. You see what I'm saying? We've experienced that too long. We've been on the wrong side of that whipping stick for too long. You see what I'm saying? Blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, we didn't experience all types of any atrocity you can think of, we didn't experience it. It's time for us to turn it around, man. We done tried everything except for what the Lord told us. We done became everything outside of what the Lord told us to become. You see what I'm saying? Like, we've been in every religion. We've been a part of every organization. We've done everything everybody else has told us to do except our power. It's time for us to return, man. Celebrating Independence Day on July 4th, man, is a sin to the Lord, man. He said he hated it. He said he despised it. He won't even smell it in that solemn assembly. Here it is, you God bless America and bringing the Liberty Bells and all that kind of stuff, you feel me? All you're doing is celebrating the power of the so-called white man. You see what I'm saying? You celebrating his claim to fame. The same man who's beaten and S.A.N. and R-word our forefathers and foremothers when he was out there fighting for his freedom. You see what I'm saying? Like these times that we're in these days that we're in, when you Black, Hispanic, and Native American, listen, the time for you to separate yourself is now. The time to come away and pull away from this society is now. People always say, when you say separate, what you saying? We got to move away from here. We ain't saying you got to move. That's the so-called white man. Say, you know, if you don't like it here, you go, why don't you move back to Africa? As if they have a home. As if we didn't build this filthy place. You see what I'm saying? When we say separate, we mean separate your spirit, man. Stop celebrating these holidays. Stop doing what this oppressor does, man. Stop choosing his ways. You see what I'm saying? Come into this UPK, man. Get the counsel you need.
Right.
Become a new person. You see what I'm saying? And that's how we're going to turn this. That's how we're going to get our independence, man. If it's independence that we seeking, come into this truth, man. If we want to celebrate something, celebrate the Lord. You see what I'm saying? And then when we sending them, we cooking out and we celebrating for the Lord, he's going to smell in them solemn assemblies. You see what I'm saying? That's what he want to smell. He want to see us doing righteous things. You think when we at the Passover, and you think the Lord not happy with that? That's the assembly he want to have. When we keeping these high holy days, days of unleavened bread, right. Feast of first fruits, days, feast of trumpets. When we keeping these high holy days, you think the Lord is not pleased with that? Right. That's the solemn assembly he's a part of. You feel me? Right. Not this nonsense that the world has told us that, to be a part of. You feel me? You Black, Hispanic, and Native American, listen. Stay away from celebrating July 4th this Friday. Right. Listen, this is Wednesday, July 2nd, 2025. July 4th, 2025, do not celebrate Independence Day ever again.
Right.
You see what I'm saying? You just might save your life. And with that, we're the Israelite School of Universal Practical Knowledge, coming straight out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York. We are under Command and General Yohana. If it's not under Command and General Yohana, it is not the truth.
Right.
And we've been bringing this out since 1969 that Blacks, Latinos, and Native Americans are the true biblical Jews of the Bible, and our oppressor, who the world knows is the pilgrim, the colonizer, the Spaniard. You see what I'm saying? He is the devil that the Bible speaks of.
That's right.
And with that, Shalom, we're going to call up Priest and Officer Ganaya Allah for reading the security announcement. Shalom.
These are the security announcements. We are the ISUPK out of 1 West 125th Street, Harlem, New York, under Command and General Yohana. Rules for new brothers and sisters. When a new brother or sister comes into the school, they are off limits for 6 months. They are to be saluted only. They are here to shed themselves of the world. After 6 months, if a brother or sister has an interest in a particular person, he or she must get permission from the head to speak to a brother or sister. There is another 6 months in which the brother or sister will court each other. After this 6 months period, the brother or sister will get permission from the head to marry. Tithes, which is a commandment. You can find it in Numbers 18, verse 21, and Malachi chapter 3, verses 8 through 10, which means 10th in Hebrew and is pronounced Mayashua. 10% of every penny of any increase the Lord gives you, you give to the treasury department or teacher. Priest fund, which is a free will offering for priests, not mandatory whatsoever amount you would like to give. Up and coming Holy Convocation is the Memorial Blowing Trumpets, which is set Sunday, September the 21st. Make sure y'all show up. That's a holiday or a holy day that you should be celebrating. For my Akim and Agwatim to check on social media such as ISUPK.com, Facebook, Twitter, YouTube, and so on for ISUPK events and the materials. If a brother wants to be a trooper in the school, then he is to start wearing all black, which includes black boots, shirts, pants, headband, and a scarf. And with that, men of Israel, we're going to give one courteous salute to the teacher, men of Israel. Mike, let me sustain. Mike Shabbat. Major, Barak, Yahweh Hashem Yahushua Barakatham.
Yahweh Hashem Yahushua Barakatham.
Hazrat Batak, class dismissed.